Hi friends, a very good morning to all of you. Right friends, I have found some important bills that have been introduced in the parliament in the PRS Legislative Research website. So the bills and acts that have been in the news in the recent past have been a favorite subject for the UPSC, and they are continuously asking questions both in prelims as well as mains. So in this context, we should be aware of each and every important bill and some important provisions, or we can say some important information regarding those bills. So here in this session, I am going to discuss with you four bills that I have found very important. And in the coming sessions also, I will be taking and discussing the important acts as well as bills in the context of our exam. Okay friends, the first one is rules and regulations. These are the rules and regulations summary that the PRS Legislative Research has been given. So friends, the first bill is the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Rules 2021. Friends, these rules are in the state of, they are at the draft stage, and the recommendations are being invited by the people. Once the recommendations are considered, the guidelines will be, the government will issue the guidelines and they will come into operation. Right friends, the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines and the Digital Media Ethics Code Rules 2021 were notified on February 25, 2021. Right friends, the rules have been notified under the Information Technology Act 2000. Friends, in the context of information technology and other cyber related issues, this act is very important. That is Information Technology Act 2000, IT Act 2000. Right friends, the act provides for the regulation of electronic transactions and cyber crime. So the act provides for regulation of electronic transactions as well as the cyber crime. Right friends, the 2021 rules replace information technology guidelines that have been issued in 2011. Right friends, the important segments in the rules are, the first one is due diligence by the intermediaries. Friends, intermediaries are entities that store or transmit data on behalf of other persons. So what are intermediaries? They store data and transmit data on behalf of other persons. So like we are the users or transmitters, users, and we want to use or transmit the data, and the intermediaries facilitate this data sharing or transmission. So that's why they are called intermediaries. Hence, these intermediaries include internet or telecom service providers like Idea, Vodafone Idea, Airtel and Jio, Reliance Jio, and online marketplaces like Flipkart and Amazon, and social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp, etc. Friends, due diligence to be observed by intermediaries includes, so they have some responsibilities. So those are informing users about rules and regulations, privacy policy, and terms and conditions for usage of each services. So they have to make these things clear. And the second one is blocking access to unlawful information within 36 hours upon an order from the court or the government. So they have to block access to a data content within 36 hours when the order is given by the courts, judiciary, or as well as the central government. It can be state or central government. Right friends, the third responsibility is retaining information collected for the registration of a user for 180 days after cancellation or withdrawal of registration. So they have to retain registration information for 180 days after the cancellation or withdrawal of that registration. Friends, the major important thing is intermediaries are required to report cybersecurity incidents and share related information with the Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, that is SATIN. Friends, it is the primary organization when it comes to cyber crimes, the SATIN. So the intermediaries have to report any kind of cyber security issue to this entity. Okay friends, now we will understand the significance of social media intermediaries. Friends, a social media intermediary with registered users in India uh, above a threshold, this is to be notified, will be classified as significant social media intermediaries. Friends, in many sectors, many organizations are being recognized as the significant entities. Take the sector of banking, take the sector of insurance, etc. So now the in the sector of social media, in the arena of social media, or we can say the online platforms, organizations, entities which having a registration base of a particular number, they will be notified as significant social media intermediaries, right friends? Additional due diligence to be observed by these intermediaries include, so they have to follow some additional responsibilities, they have to show some additional diligence. Those additional responsibilities are: first one is appointing a chief compliance officer to ensure compliance with the IT Act and the rules. So they have to appoint a chief compliance officer. Right friends, the second responsibility is appointing a grievance officer residing in India, and the third one is publishing a monthly compliance report. So these are the additional due diligence requirements that have to be shown by the significant social media intermediaries. Friends, intermediaries which provide messaging as a primary service must enable the identification of the first originator of the information on its platform. Friends, WhatsApp is the best example of providing messaging as a primary service. So those kind of organizations or intermediaries have to enable the option of identifying the first originator of the information in certain situations, right friends? This originator must be disclosed if required by an order from the court or the government. Friends, if this information leads to some kind of crime or a security issue, the intermediary have to disclose the information identity of the first originator of that information. So when they have to disclose, when it is ordered by a court or the government, right friends? Such an order will be passed for specified purposes, including investigation of offenses related to sovereignty and security of the state. This is first condition. Public order. This is second condition, and the or sexual violence. So this is the third condition. So if the circulation of information leads to any problem pertaining to these subjects, the intermediary has to disclose the identity of the first originator of that particular information. Right friends, code of ethics for digital media publishers. Now we will see code of ethics for digital media publishers. Right friends, the rules prescribe the code of ethics to be observed by publishers of digital media include: the code of ethics for digital media publishers, that includes news and current affairs content providers. So what are the entities that come under this code they have to practice is: first entities are news and current affairs content providers, and the next one is online curated content providers. These are known as over the top platforms, OTT platforms, right friends? For news and current affairs, the following existing codes will apply. So for news and current affairs producers, there is some code existing, they will apply. The existing codes are norms of journalistic conduct formulated by the Press Council of India. This is first one. Program code under Cable Television Networks Regulation Act 1995. This is the second one. And for OTT platforms, the requirements, the code of ethics will include classifying content in age appropriate categories as specified, like we have uh, universal, U by A, and adults only. So the age content should be classified according to the age appropriation. Right, friends? The second responsibility is implementing an age verification mechanism for access to adult content. So in order to access the adult content, there should be a age verification platform mechanism. Right, friends? And access control measures such as parental controls. So it also should contain the parental controls. When kids are watching the content, accessing the content, there should be parental controls. Friends, the third responsibility is improving accessibility of content for disabled persons. So this is a kind of welfare or goodwill measure. They have to make the content available for the disabled or differently abled persons also. Right, friends? Let us see the grievance redressal mechanism. Friends, the rules require the intermediaries and digital media publishers to provide for a grievance redressal mechanism. Friends, as you all know, the times are changing. Grievance redressal is becoming an important aspect of public life from the government as well as from the private service providers. So these intermediaries have to provide a kind of grievance redressal mechanism. Friends, they also have to designate a grievance officer to address complaints against violation of the rules. So there should be a grievance officer. Uh, he should take care of the complaints against the violation of the rules. Friends, complaints must be acknowledged within 24 hours. They have to accept the complaints within 24 hours and dispose them within 15 days. So it is a kind of very speedy acceptal and disposal mechanism. Friends, in case of digital media publishers, both news and OTT platforms, a three-tier grievance redressal mechanism will be in place for dealing with complaints regarding the content. Friends, there is a detailed information, you can go through it. So basically, there will be a three-tier grievance redressal mechanism for the digital media publishers. Friends, as part of the oversight mechanism for this grievance redressal, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting will establish an interdepartmental committee. So MIB, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, is going to establish a interdepartmental committee. This is to hear grievances not addressed by the self-regulatory bodies and also oversee adherence to the code of ethics. So basically, this interdepartmental committee has two responsibilities, two objectives. One is they will hear grievances, those are not addressed by this grievance officers, grievance authority appointed by the intermediary itself. And the second responsibility is it will oversee the adherence to the code of ethics by the intermediaries. Right, friends? Now we will see blocking of content in case of emergency. Friends, in case of emergencies, the authorized officers may examine digital media content and the secretary MIB may pass an interim direction for blocking such content. Friends, in kind of emergency situations, suppose let's say when a particular content or a message is leading to some kind of communal riots or violence, so the secretary can issue an intermediate order directing, saying that the intermediary should block that content. Friends, the final order for blocking such content will be passed only after the approval of the interdepartmental committee. So the secretary will pass the interim order, and later the order will be examined by the interdepartmental committee and it will pass the final order. Right friends, this is all about the information technology intermediary guidelines and the digital media ethics code rules. Okay friends, now we will see some information about the tribunals reforms, rationalization and conditions of service bill 2021. Right friends, the tribunals reforms, this bill was introduced in Lok Sabha by the Finance Minister Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman in February 13, 2021. Friends, it seeks to dissolve certain existing appellate bodies and transfer their functions to other existing judicial bodies. Friends, there are a number of tribunals. We are establishing number of tribunals in order to in the goal of achieving ease of doing business as well as ease of to make the consumer more and more satisfactory. So we have established many tribunals and as well as the appellate tribunals. So what now the government is trying to do is it wants to dissolve some of the appellate tribunals relating to these tribunals, and it is going to give these appellate powers majorly to the high courts, various high courts. Right friends, we will see what are the changes that are the government is intending to make through this amendment act. Right friends, the Cinematograph Act 1952, the present appellate body is appellate tribunal and it will be appellate responsibility will be shifted to high court. Friends, the Trademarks Act 1999, the appellate rights will be shifted to high court. Friends, the third one is the Copyright Act 1957 and there is appellate board for now and it will be shifted to commercial court or the commercial division of a high court. Friends, these commercial divisions in high courts have been established to make the ease of doing business process more flexible. To achieve the ease of doing business, the commercial divisions in high courts have been established. Friends, the third one is fourth one is the Customs Act 1962. Fifth one is Patents Act 1970. Sixth one is the Airports Authority of India Act 1994. And there are two more acts, the Control of National Highways, Land and Traffic Act 2002. And the last one is the Geographical Indications of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999. Plus, majorly, the responsibilities of appellate authorities have been taken away and majorly given to high courts. So here, in the case of the Control of National Highways, it is given to a civil court, and in rest of the cases, it is majorly given to the high courts. Okay, friends. Let us see some of the developments that have taken place in the past relating to these tribunals. Friends, the Finance Act of 2017 empowered the central government to notify rules on qualifications of members, terms and conditions of their service, and composition of search cum selection committees for 19 tribunals. So these are here there are mention of some of the tribunals. So in effect, the Finance Act of 2017 gave powers to the central government to decide upon various conditions, appointment, service conditions, and other other rules. These powers have been transferred to the central government. Right, friends? There are some changes in the search cum selection committees. These are the chairperson and members of the tribunals will be appointed by the central government on the recommendation of a search cum selection committee, and there are some changes relating to this search and selection committee. Friends, we will see some terms of office. The bill specifies that the term of office for the chairperson of the tribunals will be for 4 years or till the attainment of age of 70 years. For this is for chairman, it is 4 years or 70 years, 4 years of service or 70 years of age, and for the members it is 4 years of service or 67 years of age. So there are rules notified for the terms of office for the chairman and members. Right friends, the third bill is the Arbitration and Conciliation Amendment Bill 2021. Friends, there are minor changes in the bill. We will try to understand them quickly. Right friends, this amendment bill was introduced in Lok Sabha on February 4th, 2021. Friends, it seeks to amend the Arbitration and Conciliation Act of 1996. Friends, the Act contains provisions to deal with domestic and international arbitration and defines the law for conducting conciliation proceedings. So the two main things in the Act are: it contains the provisions to deal with domestic and international arbitration, and it defines the law for conducting conciliation proceedings. Right friends, there is some information and clarification about the automatic stay and awards, and the present, the main focus of the bill is, the bill specifies that a stay on the arbitrary award can be provided even during the pendency of the setting aside of the application, when if the court is satisfied that the relevant arbitration agreement or contract or making of the award was induced or affected by fraud or corruption. So in these cases, the bill specifies that a stay can be obtained on the arbitration award. Friends, this is the only change that has intended to brought through this amendment act. Friends, for the examination for the purpose of our examination, the arbitration and conciliation, this subject is becoming very important, because in the bilateral investment treaties, the India is facing headwinds. It is facing several adverse judgments in the international arena. If you take the case of Cairn India, and in the Vodafone case also, it has lost its case in both these cases, and it has to pay huge penalties. So in this context, please try to understand the justice delivery system in our country, and the governance of the treaties, bilateral investment treaties, and need for improving the arbitration and conciliation system in our country. Right friends, the other one is National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development Bill 2021. Friends, this is very important. You can 100% expect a question in the prelims examination from this bill. Right friends, we'll go into the details. Friends, the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development Bill 2021 was introduced in Lok Sabha on March 22, 2021. Friends, the bill seeks to establish the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development (NBFID) as the principal development financing institution (DFI), development financial institution for infrastructure financing. Friends, at present we have a universal banking system. Banks will be giving loans for personal, and it will be giving the banks will be giving the personal loans, and they will be lending for the corporates, and also they are financing the infrastructure sector. So it is proving somewhat difficult, because the banks are facing NPA problems, non-performing assets problem. The major reason that is cited for the problem is the bank's investments in infrastructure projects, and the banks are depending majorly on short-term deposits to lend to this long-term infrastructure projects. Friends, the infrastructure projects have a long gestation period, and it takes years together, 15 to 20 years to start recovering the interest or loan amount that is given towards the infrastructure projects. So because of this liquidity issue, both banks and the non-banking financial institutions are facing a lot of problems. So to address this issue, this is a structural problem. So to address this structural issue, the concept of developmental financial institutions has been sought after, and we have made a first step in this direction by introducing this bank, National Bank for Financing Infrastructure and Development. Friends, the DFIs are set up for providing long-term finance for such segments of the economy where the risks involved are beyond the acceptable limits of commercial banks and other ordinary financial institutions. So friends, this is the synthesis that I was explaining before. So it is the developmental financial institutions are majorly to finance the infrastructure projects that have a long gestation period. Friends, unlike banks, the DFIs do not accept deposits from the people. So they do not depend on the short-term deposits from the people. Right, friends? They source funds from the market, government market. They source funds from the market, the government, and as well as multilateral institutions, and are often supported through government guarantees. So in the final, as a last resort, they will be supported through government guarantees. Right, friends, we will now understand some things about the National Bank for Financing Infrastructure Development, NBFID. Friends, NBFID will be set up as a corporate body with authorized share capital of 1 lakh crore rupees. So it will be set up as a corporate body with authorized share capital of 1 lakh crore rupees. Friends, initially the central government will own 100% shares of the institution, and which may be subsequently reduced up to 26%. So in the beginning it will be 100% central government shareholder body, and later subsequently the share of the central government can be reduced up to 26%. Friends, now we will understand the functions of the NBFID. Friends, it will have both financial as well as developmental objectives. So it has both financial objectives and as well as developmental objectives. Friends, financial objectives will be to directly or indirectly lend, invest, or attract investments for what? For infrastructure projects located entirely or partly in India. So the financial responsibilities will be to lend directly or indirectly, or to invest, or to attract investments for infrastructure projects. Right, friends? The developmental objectives include facilitating the development of market for bonds, loans, and derivatives for infrastructure financing. Friends, as we all very well know, the bond market in India is very poorly developed. This is also a major reason for poor infrastructure financing or development in our country. The bond market is very poorly developed. So the responsibility, the developmental objective of the NBFID will be to develop a market for bonds for infrastructure financing. Friends, if we see the functions of the NBFID, they include extending loans and advances for infrastructure projects, extending loans and advances, and second function is taking over or refinancing such existing loans. So it can take over the existing loans and finances. Third responsibility is attracting investment from private sector investors and institutional investors for infrastructure projects. So it has to attract investments from the private sector as well as the institutional investors. And some other important objectives will be like facilitating negotiations with various government authorities for dispute resolution. So it has the responsibility of dispute resolution. And friend, providing consultancy services, infrastructure financing. So friends, the two important functions also include, one is dispute resolution and the second is providing consultancy services. Friends, now we will try to understand the sources of funds for the NBFID. So it may raise money in the form of loans or otherwise, both in Indian rupees and foreign currencies. So it can raise funds both in Indian rupees as well as foreign currencies, or secure money by issue and sale of various financial instruments including bonds and debentures. So it can raise money and secure money by issue and sale of various financial instruments including bonds and debentures. Right friends, management of NBFID. So NBFID will be governed by a board of directors. So here there are details about the board of governors, you can go through them. Friends, now we will understand the support from the central government for NBFID. Friends, the central government will provide grants worth of 5,000 crore to NBFID by the end of the first financial year. So the central government will provide 5,000 crore rupees by the end of the first financial year. The government will also provide guarantee at a concessional rate up to 0.1% for borrowing from multilateral institutions, sovereign wealth funds and other foreign funds. So it will guarantee the borrowings from various sources at a concessional interest rate up to 0.1%. Friends, there are some protections that are being given to the employees of the NBFID. No investigation can be initiated against the employees of NBFID without the prior sanction. Friends, this is to ensure that to fight the policy paralysis, and employees will be given a free hand so that they can take decisions on the merit basis and not fall prey into the pressures by the authorities or the influential purpose, and this is majorly to secure their decision making and to give them a free hand. Right friends, we will see the other DFIs. The bill also provides for any person to set up a DFI by applying for RBI, and RBI can grant a license for establishment of DFI with the consultation of central government. Hence, RBI will also prescribe regulations for developmental financial institutions as it is doing for the commercial banks now. Friends, this is all about the 4 bills. I think you have gained some valuable and important information through this discussion. Thank you for joining me. See you next time. Have a good day.